Guys, I'm not going to explain this story. I'm just going to read the title of the post and you can see how crazy it is. Fiancé cheated on me with my sister in the same room because I'm blind and he was after my settlement money. Luckily, my cousin found out and taught them a lesson. They were mega embarrassed and it has all updates. Guys, this one is wild. I think that I'm in the worst position a person can possibly be in. I don't know what to believe in. Everyone around me telling me one thing, but I feel the other. I wish that I could see for myself what the truth was, but I can't. I must rely on those who see. But among those who see, some want to take advantage. How will I know who the real enemy is? I hope you guys can help me discern what these confusing things mean. I have a difficult choice to make. I don't know if I want to risk losing the person that I've loved all my life because of a rumor. This rumor is something that my cousin Samantha shared with me. She's been helping me with everything, as I'm still getting used to being blind. 6 months ago, I was in a terrible accident. There was a collision between my car and a truck. I lost a lot of blood and was under observation for 3 months. When I woke up, I discovered that my vision was getting worse and eventually I became blind. Losing my vision took a big toll on me. I felt as if my whole life was over. At the age of 26, how was I going to learn to live without my vision? Most of all, how was I going to learn to live without my love? I was pretty certain that my fiancé Brad would not want to be burdened with me for the rest of his life. While I love Brad, he's not the most responsible person out there. We've only decided to get married after he worked on himself for several years. We dated 4 long years, and he got a job 2 years into the relationship. Shortly after, he tells me that he wants to get married. I agreed to get married to him, but only on the condition that he kept his job for at least a year. When he reached the year milestone and proved that he was responsible, that is when I actually agreed to marry him. Despite all his issues with keeping a job, he's a wonderful human being, and hey, I mean it. He is. He just struggles a lot with responsibility. When I realized that I was no longer going to be able to see, I felt as if it would be too much for him. Instead of making him go through all this with me, I decided to break up with him. To my surprise, he refused to accept it. He told me that he waited so long to marry me, so he was not going to let such a small thing stop him. Despite telling him that there were many women out there, he did not accept the breakup. He didn't care that he could get someone who would not be such a burden to him, and at the time, I was the lowest point in my life. I kept on thinking of all the things that I could never do again. I kept on realizing that my life would just never be the same. I'd have to relearn everything, and I was not ready for this. The last thing that I needed was to shackle him to me. Brad proved my assumptions wrong, and he came to see me every day that I was in the hospital. He would read to me, talk to me, and tell me that he loved me every single day. He told me that even if I could never see again, he would always be my eyes and my vision. Well, that made me love him even more. When I got discharged, my parents wanted me to move in with them. Unfortunately, they live quite a far ways away. Brad would not have it. He didn't want to be separated from me, so my parents decided to send my cousin Samantha just to come and stay with me. Well, since Brad was also living with me, he was just 3 of us for a while. Slowly, I got used to not being able to see. Both of them helped me navigate my new life, and with time, things got better, and I just resumed planning my wedding. My sister decided to help me with the wedding planning. See, she lived not so far from me, so she was more than happy to assist. This meant that she was always at the house, and it was nice having her here because we have a lot in common. It's much easier to speak to her than to Samantha. Even though we're family, I pay Samantha to take care of me. She acts very formal, and I think this is because she has worked as a caretaker her whole life. She's very professional and doesn't involve herself in matters that don't concern her. This is why it was surprising for me when she came to me and told me that she was about to speak out of turn. Well, I gave her permission to speak out of turn because I was interested in hearing what she had to say. She tells me that she was telling me this because as a fellow woman, she would also just want to know if something was happening right in front of her eyes. She said that her extensive experience working with different families have been giving her great observation skills. She was rarely wrong with her observations. If it's been anything else or anyone, she would have probably not revealed her findings. However, since we're family, she felt it was her duty. I told her to stop beating around the bush and tell me everything. Samantha then told me that she suspected that Brad and Felicia were having an affair. I thought I misheard her, so I told her to repeat her statement. She tells me she believed that my sister and fiancé were seeing each other behind my back. Obviously, I asked her what evidence she had of this. She tells me that she had no concrete evidence, but she had seen them act very sneaky. She had also seen the way they interacted with each other, specifically the way that they touched each other, and Samantha insisted that they behaved like lovers. She also told me that they acted like this in front of me. Since I could not see anything, I never suspected anything. Samantha told me that I could do with the information as I wanted, but she had a bad feeling about Brad. See, I know Brad can be a bit inconsistent and childish at times, but he would never cheat on me. I've never questioned his loyalty to me. I've always known that he loves me despite his imperfections. Even though I have imperfections, he chose to love me every single day. For Samantha to claim that he would cheat on me at my lowest point is such a big thing. Obviously, guys, I'm flabbergasted. My mind is scrambling as I try to make sense of this information. I'm trying to figure out if there was ever a time I suspected that these two were doing something behind my back. Of course, they're friendly with each other. They've known each other for 4 years. I would not expect them to be very formal with each other. Maybe they've been hiding under the guise of being friends when they're actually lovers. If this is the case, then I want to know how long this has been going on. I wonder if it started right after my accident or if it's been going on for longer. However, that is a concern only if they're really cheating on me. Otherwise, Samantha could just be overreacting. She doesn't know them as well as I do, and she might just be generalizing due to her own past experience. If that's the case, then I would have to talk with her about boundaries. She has clearly asserted herself as a professional and not a friend. Samantha is my caregiver and has never led me astray until today. On the other hand, Brad and my sister are 2 people in the world that I love the most. The 2 people who have been there for me through everything, and I didn't think that they would break my heart. But then again, sometimes people can be very crappy. I wonder if I should confront them about this. Obviously, if I ask them, they will tell me that this is not true. But will I believe them? I don't want to alienate them by accusing them of being dishonest. They've been there for me through every part of the journey, and if I alienate them, they might just leave me. I'm scared of being left alone, and I'm already feeling so alone in this darkness. To lose their presence in my life would be the nail in the coffin. Guys, in your humble opinion, what do you think that I should do? Update number 1, 2 weeks later. Hey guys, it's been 2 weeks since my last post. My update, it might be a bit slow because I have someone who helps me proofread my writing. I've gotten very good at writing while blind, but I'm still prone to making mistakes. I've hired a proofreader to help me because of it, and with that being said, let me tell you all of this that has happened since Samantha dropped that bomb on me. I've been extra observant of my sister and my fiancé. I've mixed feelings about their interactions, and sometimes I feel as if they're really flirting. But only sometimes do I think that they're just being friendly. I've also noticed long silences in between when I asked them questions or interacted with them. When I asked about the silence, they told me that I was looking too deeply into things. They claimed that they were just thinking about what their next response was going to be. How come there was never such silence when I could see? In that meantime, I've asked Samantha to be extra observant on them. If she can only catch them doing something incriminating, then I'll have the proof that I need. Samantha's told me that they have not dared to do anything while she's looking. She's always around me, so they can't really do anything when she's there. It's difficult for her to leave me for a long time because I need help all the time. The times when she's not with me and she tries to spy on them, she has been unlucky. She's not seen anything that's incriminating enough. She's told me that maybe I need to consider what the doctor said. Maybe, if they think that I can't see anything, they will slip up in front of me. What she means is that I have a chance to get my vision back. See, when I went for a checkup about 3 months ago, the doctor tells me that my eyes were not as damaged as he initially led to believe. I could carry on living my life the way I am or have another surgery to regain most of my vision. However, if I do the surgery, I really might run into some complications. Not only my vision would be at stake, but my entire body could be in harm. It would be up to me if I was willing to go through with all the risk again. When he initially told me about it, I declined. See, I'd already been in the hospital for several months and I was sick of it. I was sick of all the pain medication, all the procedures. It felt like I was never going to be able to get out of the hospital and go back to a normal life. I'd already accepted the fate that I would never be able to see again. There was no way that I was going to risk getting into a worse condition just so that I could see. Besides, the surgery had such a low percentage of working out, I didn't see the point in doing it. However, Samantha and I have been having conversations about it. She's been helping me research it, and we've discussed the proof, and we see the pros and cons, and think that it might be something for me to consider. I'm getting married in a couple of months, and maybe it would be a good wedding surprise for my fiancé when he realizes that I can partially see again. That's my motivation for now, at least. But Samantha just wants me to be able to catch those two in the act. That's still an unknown variable for me, and I don't know if they're really cheating or not. I don't want this to be the main motivation for getting the surgery. Imagine that I do all that, and it turns out that they're not cheating. I would look so stupid and feel very stupid as well. Do you think that I should take the risk? What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. Oh man. So the next update comes out 3 months later, but first I want to ask you guys this. If you were in OP's position, would you go through with the surgery, potentially losing your vision forever and maybe other complications as well? In my opinion, I'd say I would go for it. Guys, drop your opinions down below and let me know what you would do, but here is update number 2, 3 months later. Hey guys, it's been 3 months since my last update and I did the surgery. It was a big decision for me to make, but I did it. The entire process took a very long time and I had to be under observation for several days. I also had to be properly prepared for the entire surgery. And then there was the healing, which took quite a while. I didn't want anyone to know about the surgery, so I made an excuse. I told my entire family I was going away to learn Braille. See, Brad and my sister advocated for Samantha to return home while I was gone. They claimed that they did not really need her until I got back. I tried to fight them on it because I wanted her to stay. However, they were very convincing, and even my parents agreed with them, and I thought it was suspicious, but I let it go. There was a reason for everything, and I didn't want to accuse people based on suspicion. The main reason for me to get this surgery was to prove that they were not cheating on me. In addition, it would be a nice surprise for my fiancé. I left to go and get my surgery, and afterwards there was a healing period of about a month. Samantha came to visit me as often as she could. During that time, we actually became really close. It was funny that we were never close, even though our mothers were sisters. Her side of the family is not as well off as mine, and because of this, my parents did not really make an effort for me to be around her. When she told me about her life, I realized just how privileged I've been. She had no choice but to start working pretty early on just to take care of her family. And as for me, everything was pretty much already planned for. I realized during healing that it was interesting how life worked out. Before the accident, I had everything. A loving fiancé, a beautiful house, and the promise of a bright future. Now I was close to losing my fiancé, and the only thing I have to look forward to is being able to see again, and even that's not a certainty. These introspective moments helped me to think about what happens after the surgery. As I took the time to think about my life and what I wanted to do with it, I realized that I wanted to do more with it than I have. I wanted to be doing so much more, regardless of whether I got married or not, and it's funny how it took an accident for me to reevaluate my entire life. Update number 3. It's a month later, guys. Hey, it's been an entire month since I've posted an update, and so much has happened since then. The gist of it is that I recovered and have regained 75% of my vision. That's a lot compared to nothing. After recovering, I returned home. Samantha returned home with me and we continued with our ruse. It was not that hard for me to act as if I could not see anything because I still had to wear my glasses. The next few weeks were crucial for me. There were so many times that I wanted to reveal the truth to everyone, especially when it felt like the two of them were too far, but I could not. I needed something concrete. Not only that, I also needed to know why he was choosing to stay with me if he didn't love me. It was a pity when I did not want his pity. All I wanted was the truth from both of them, and I observed them over the next few weeks, and there's no simple way to say this, but Samantha was right. The way they looked at each other showed me that there was something. There were certain times when their hands would touch, and they would glance at each other, and I would feel terrible. The first time I saw her kiss his cheek, I was enraged. I wanted to get up and pry her off him, but I could not. Instead, I acted like I saw nothing. He then turned and kissed her on the lips, and my heart tore into 2 pieces. I called up Samantha, and the 2 of them asked what's wrong. I told them that I was late because I had intended to go to the shop to get something for the wedding. I saw the guilty look on their faces when I mentioned the wedding. I then said that since I was getting better, I felt it was time for us to move ahead with the wedding. I expected my fiancé to be quite upset by my wanting to go ahead with the wedding, but I was wrong. They exchanged a very strange look. In fact, he actually smiled. Why would he smile if he was going to get married to me but was in love with another woman, my sister? It simply did not make any sense. That's when I knew something was up and had no idea what it was. The 2 of them probably wanted my money. Because of the accident, I was rendered unable to work, and my insurance paid out some money for me to be able to take care of myself. They're still paying out the money in chunks, but a huge part of it's going to be paid out at the end of the year. That's going to be like 2 months after I get married. I never would have thought that Brad would marry me for that, but after what I've seen, it makes a lot of sense. It makes sense why he's still sticking with me even though he doesn't love me. He has barely been affectionate with me since the accident, and he makes excuses that he feels I'm too fragile. I don't think that it's the truth. I think he sees me differently now and is attracted to my sister. But don't worry, I have a plan for them. All of this is going to be exposed at the party I'm throwing a couple of days from now. The wedding arrangements are nearly complete. We have a date set for the end of the week, and I've decided to have a party a few days before. At this party, I'm going to invite my entire family and friends. Let's just say that I have an interesting announcement to make at the party. Final updates. Update number 4. 4 days later. Hey guys, it's 4 days later and 3 days until the wedding. Correction, it was 3 days before my wedding, and no such thing will happen anymore because my engagement is over. I ended things with my fiancé Brad in front of the whole family. It was the most difficult thing I've ever had to do. I'm still reeling and trying to be okay. I guess I've had enough time to cry about this past month. As I've watched them with each other, they had no shame when they stole those kisses, thinking that I could not see them. Thus, I had no shame in exposing them in front of everyone at the party that happened last night. At the party, I told everyone that I had a surprise. There was a time when I removed my glasses and told them that I could see. My entire family was shocked, but they were also very happy. They all came to me and hugged me, except for 2 people, Brad and my sister, just standing there looking absolutely shocked, and everyone then asked, when I regained my eyesight, and of course I did not lie about when it happened. I revealed to everyone that I had gone for surgery 3 months ago. The whole time I'd been healing, but I told nobody because I wanted it to be a surprise. I said I wanted to reveal my newfound eyesight at the wedding, but something made me change my mind, see? Samantha then acted oblivious and asked, what made me change my mind? I plastered on a big old smile as I looked at my fiancé and my sister and said it was them. I told them that the love they showed me was what made me want to reveal everything prematurely. Brad was opening and closing his mouth, unable to say anything, like a fish. Meanwhile, my sister was looking down at the ground. She could not even look me in the eyes. I told her not to be shy. I then asked her to tell everybody how she had shown me that love. She started to shake her head and begged me not to say anything, but I had no mercy. I told everybody, including our parents, that my sister and Brad had been having an affair all along. I saw them with my own eyes while they thought that I was blinded. Samantha had been the one who kindly told me what was going on and convinced me to do the risky surgery. I ended up doing it so that I could surprise Brad at our wedding. Unfortunately for me, I was the one who was surprised once I saw that those 2 were having an affair. Brad then had the nerve to tell me that I have deceived them. He asked why I did not tell everyone that I was going for surgery, and he thought that my lies were what caused all of this to happen. I laughed bitterly as I told him that he was the one who caused this. Because of his greed, we were in this position, and I then told him I knew he wanted to marry me for the insurance money. It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out, buddy. My last words to him were that he was going to get none of it, and in fact he would have to pack all his crap and get the hell out of my home. Chaos ensued right after that. My entire family took turns reprimanding Brad and Felicia. Brad tried to defend himself, but he was no match against my very upset mother. Meanwhile, my sister was apologizing endlessly. In the end, I told her to get the hell out of my house because I was tired of her pathetic apologies. Already over it, I went and locked myself in my room. I've been here since last night, and I don't really feel like talking to anybody right now. All I can think about is last night. Everything just happened so quickly and swiftly, and it was like ripping off a Band-Aid. It hurts a bit, but I'm relieved. It's better for me to cancel my wedding than to spend the rest of my life with someone who doesn't love me. Worst of all, if someone who's with me for money that I got from being injured. If that's not an insult, I don't know what is. Guys, right now, I have to focus on getting used to seeing again. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm grateful for the accident. Because of this, my fiancé showed me his true colors before we got married. My mother told me to leave him a long time ago because he was flaky, but I believed in our love. I wish I had listened to her back then because he cannot work for anything in his life. He can only thrive off of other people's success. I'm just sad it took me so long to get that life. Unfortunately for me, it also cost me my relationship with my sister, who I used to love dearly. I'm not going to forgive her for this. She's dead to me. I don't care if all the family members forgive her, but I never will. To do something like this to your blind sister, well, I consider that diabolical. Didn't I tell you this story was nuts? The first comment says, I'm very happy that you finally exposed the truth. Now it's time for you to heal, and I'm just concerned about your mental health after all this. It must not have been easy for you to see these people every day. It must have hurt to see them acting so in love while thinking that you were blind. I think that you're going to need to see a counselor after this one. I know it seems like you're okay right now, but there's, such a thing as a delayed response. Right now, you're probably just shocked and happy that you got them out of your life. But with time, you'll start to miss them. And when that happens, just know that there are many ways for you to get help. Reach out to the people that you care about and tell them how you feel. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to help you. Comment number 2. Dang, you really decided to expose them in front of everyone. I'm very happy for you. I mean, they deserved it, right? They were greedy. People like them are heartless. They could have at least told you the truth. I'm sure it would have been easier to forgive them than do everything in front of you. Clearly, they're selfish and want to use you for the money. Thank goodness for Samantha, right? Shout out Samantha in the comment section, who was so observant. If she had not been there, you would have been in the dark all your life. Now, thanks to her, you had the incentive to do the risky surgery despite the chances that it would not work. The upside to this is that you've gained your eyesight, and you've gotten rid of your useless fiancé. You've had a lot of changes throughout the past year, and this whole thing must have been so difficult for you to deal with. I don't know how you did it. Guys, you know what? It was hard to find a negative comment in today's story. It seemed like everybody was rooting for OP. Let me know your thoughts down below in our comment section. And if you're new to the channel, my name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories like this every day, and if you want more videos, all you have to do is subscribe. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and of course remember, it's cool to be kind. Peace.